Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're live. I'm Jack Farmer. He's Justin LaBar. He's Raj Giri. Justin, you are looking festive today. I'm loving that snowflake Ric Flair shirt.
Woo! It lights up.
If you're on the YouTube version, if you're on the audio version,
If you're on the audio, you're really missing out on the beauty. Yeah, this is, as you and I were talking about before we came on the air, there's only so many days of the year that you can bust this part of the closet out. So I'm taking advantage of it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very big into taking advantage of all holiday outfits while the holidays are around. Raj, you're not looking very festive at all. You're in all black.
I got the Broncos.
Broncos. Is that black or is that just my camera?
Yeah, it's a dark blue.
Well, yeah, close enough.
We're in the hunt. It's possible.
Again, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I hate all football right now. Just terrible. As soon as we're out of the playoffs, they start winning games. What the heck is this all about? They don't understand how this works. I don't think. It's supposed to
who booked this crap?
Tank. That's what you're supposed to do. But well, we got a pretty stacked show, so we are going to dive into it. Thanks to everyone who's been waiting for us to start. Hushberger, Sergio, Aaron, thanks, guys. We're going to get right into the news and kind of a sad news week, to be totally honest. We're going to start with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was reportedly released by WWE last Thursday, and the news came less than a week after an incident at a WWE house show in Texas. Matt Hardy has been releasing some cryptic messages, but basically says Jeff is okay in the end. Matt Hardy has said a lot, but I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts. Raj, you're the news guy. I always like to start with you on these things. Jeff Hardy released after that sort of, I guess I'll say, bizarre video footage of him at a house show.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing. As we've noted, WWE apparently asked him to go to rehab. He declined. Matt Hardy, as we're speaking just a little bit ago, he released a video on YouTube, and he's saying Jeff Hardy's doing well. There's no reason to be concerned. He said he's not worried about any issues at all, and that Jeff is the best version of himself he's ever seen. So, he released another video on his YouTube channel that Jeff was actually in, and Jeff, in the video looks completely fine. He's singing "Release Me" from Wilson Phillips. So I don't know what that means, but yeah, I mean, who knows what that was, maybe it's just a one night thing. Maybe it was, who knows, but they're saying everything's fine.
Well, I think of course, we all have fears that there are issues. Of course, Jeff's had issues in the past. There's all fears that something's going on. And I think best case scenario, looking at this, it's good that if that's not the case, that's the best case scenario, obviously. I don't know what happened then. I don't know if we'll ever know. But Justin, it does seem that Jeff Hardy is out of his contract with WWE as far as we're reporting. Do we just expect him to be in AEW in 30, 90 days or whatever the rules are there? Or is there more to it? Or is it as simple? Matt says we need to know all the facts, but let's just speculate.
Well, I mean, I think it would be, it'd be a betting man's win to inevitably Jeff would be in AEW at some point or another. For a little Hardy reunion. I mean, I'm sure Tony Khan, is going to want to have assurance that Jeff truly is in the best place before he brings him on. But yeah, I mean, I think it's inevitable at some point. I don't know if it's going to be in 90 days or a year from now, but I think at some point it's inevitable. I think the frustrating thing about this, I mean, obviously, Jackie, you just said, obviously, if Jeff truly is all fine and everything's good, that's the best case scenario, right? But I think what's frustrating is that, like, I believe Matt Hardy in 2021. I believe if Matt Hardy makes a point to go on and do a video, I mean, yes, it's his brother. He's always going to protect his brother, but I don't believe Matt would go to the extent that he has to kind of like try to speak on their behalf and kind of keep I believe Matt is what I'm saying. But at the same time, it is hard to figure out like what to color in the middle because the last black and white factual thing we have to go on is that bizarre video of Jeff making a tag at a house show and then just exiting through the crowd and then being pulled from the next show and then being released days later. So it is hard. And obviously knowing Jeff's history, it's like, okay, Jeff looks good in this video. I want absolutely 100% believe Matt Hardy, but what are the facts then? Where is the discrepancy? You know, if WWE did in fact ask Jeff to go to rehab and he said no, I don't need that. Like, where are we missing there? That's what's that's what's kind of trouble. And the other thing too that's kind of weird to this. And Raj, correct me if I'm wrong. WWE has not officially come out and actually officially announced that Jeff's been released or wished him in the future endeavors. They have not done that. So that's even weirder in this whole situation is that, it was Fightful, I think, who first reported that Jeff's gone. Matt Hardy and Camp have since all basically confirmed that, yeah, he's gone, but WWE's never even officially said something, which usually they at least will make at least a one sentence statement saying this person's no longer at the company. So I need the lines colored in. I need the details filled in here.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I think there was years ago they did that with Rey Mysterio too, where Rey Mysterio was released and they never announced it. But for the most part, they've announced all their other releases this year. Ric Flair. Everyone except for Lars Sullivan is the only other one I could think of that they didn't announce. Maybe Velveteen Dream. Did they? I don't know if they actually said Velveteen Dream. I'm forgetting.
Maybe this will be for the chat. Is Jeff Hardy still on the roster page on WWE.com? That because if he's up there, that might, of course I was looking at it earlier today. Johnny Gargano's still on there, so that might not actually mean anything. It might just mean they haven't updated it yet. But
yeah, here, let's take a quick look-see here. I mean, regardless, I'm sure he is. Yeah, he's not on there anymore. So, he's a free agent. If I know there's a lot of speculation online. I don't see Jeff doing something that would close the door with him in WWE. That's just my opinion. I can't see him doing something to try to get himself released, but I could be wrong. That's they've had such a good relationship with WWE over the years that I don't see them wanting, I just would think they would act professional in that manner, but that's again, my opinion.
Again, just kind of speculating here, but it's interesting because Jeff, I believe, was just saying how he wanted to face Roman Reigns recently as well. So it seems weird to be saying stuff like that and then ask for a release. I don't know. Again, I'd kind of like some insight. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but it'd be interesting to know kind of what's going on there because it seems like it's more than just a unhappy wrestler asked for a release situation.
If he is totally fine, and then it seems like a no-brainer that AEW would take him. I mean, Jeff Hardy, through the years has always been a top guy in any promotion he's been at until basically the last couple of years in WWE. So, I mean, it would be a big signing for AEW. I don't know if it moves numbers that much, but it would open up a lot of doors in a lot of different matchups.
It would because, WWE scratched the surface in 2017 when the Hardys came back to WWE of kind of doing, a Hardys reunion tour going around hitting the cities that the Hardys had not been in on a WWE stage in, a decade, but they didn't really, full on commit. So, obviously I think if you have the option standing right there in front of you, again, this is all pending that Jeff is in fact A-okay. If you're Tony Khan and you have the option in front of you of, I'm going to book Hardy Family Office with Matt, given the rub to a lot of these younger guys, let's be honest, it just hasn't really gained a ton of momentum. If you have the option of booking that or booking over like Rover Hardy Boys with some of the dream matchups and fresh matchups you could with the tag teams you have, that's a no-brainer. So, yeah.
Is Jeff Hardy one of them? He's like the most bulletproof wrestler ever. Like, no matter what they do with him, no matter where he is, people just love him. I feel like if you did, he hasn't really been used that much in years, it seems like. But I feel like if you put him in a world title rivalry, everyone would be like, yes, we want to see this. This is great. People are always ready for Jeff Hardy to come back and do something. So
he's kind of bulletproof in a lot of ways because he's such a good guy. So many people like him that, his mishaps over the years, if another wrestler did those, they would not be in a featured spot today.
He is cool hand Luke, man. You sit and have a meal with him, you talk to him, whatever the situation is with it, whatever. He is just cool, down to earth. I mean, he's incredibly likable. And to Raj's point, if there's a lot of other guys that if they appeared on TMZ, like Jeff has, unfortunately over the years, that's gonna stick with them a lot heavier than it has with Jeff.
Well, we will see as that unfolds. In the chat, Mike says it was the Lashley show tonight. He is a star. It certainly was, and we will definitely talk all about that. Also, Jody Shauna Jenkins says, just join the show. Justin, is that sweater a tribute to Glacier or is it Laundry Day?
Ouch! Come on, it's paying tribute to be the man. You got to beat the man. I'll bust out another one next week. It's Ric Flair. The bad thing is you can't really see it. The at-home studio lights here are so bright you can't even really see it, but it does light up. It's lighting up right now.
Yeah.
Look at Justin. The lights shine so bright on Justin that you can't see Ric Flair. I can't believe he just
The lights are on bright tonight, Michael.
Our own Demon Diva back from the Bad Bunny concert.
Buenos noches. Yes.
Buenos noches.
So we have some more news, more sad news. It's going to keep on rolling tonight, folks. Jimmy Rave passed away. The former Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling star Jimmy Rave passed away today at the age of 39 years old. The announcement came on Twitter this afternoon. 20 years wrestling, debuted in October of 1999, joined Ring of Honor in 2003, had matched with guys like AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, many others. Sad times. Justin, any thoughts on Jimmy Rave?
Yeah, I mean, obviously sad story, sad news. Just some we're talking a minute ago about, Jeff Hardy and Bulletproof and having gone through the things you go through. I mean, it's life of a wrestler is not always an easy one. It's just sad to 39. That's young. I have mutual friends of people who I've seen on my timelines and such who knew him, worked with him, all positive, but can't say anything more personally or whatever, but obviously just sad. I just think about it. I know he's got at least one kid, I believe. So just sad. 39.
Yeah. 39 is super young.
Yeah. It's really sad. I mean, Jesus, last year he had to have his left arm amputated. And then earlier this year, he had to have both legs amputated following a battle with a MRSA infection. So, I mean, he's had just about as rough a go as you could have the last year. It's 39 years old is way too young, and just really sad to hear.
So obviously, thoughts are with him and his family. I don't know if there's any like fundraisers or things for the family. I'm sure those will start coming up soon. But
I think Mick Foley just did something, if I recall. I thought that was for Jimmy Rave. He was doing something, trying to raise money for. I thought it was him. Maybe
I know he did something for the medical bills a while back, so it wouldn't surprise me if Mick Foley was doing something like that. But definitely keep your eye out for that if those opportunities are there. I always think it's good when the community can come together and help families in needs and all those things. So
yeah,
I don't have
I mean, we just interviewed Mick Foley last week, and he was talking about Jimmy, and he said his bills were around $100,000, and so the money they raised cut that basically down in half. So. Man, good. Yeah, someone's in the chat, Michael Virus, saying need more humans like Mick Foley in this nutty world. Yeah, I mean, absolutely,
100%. Yeah, Mick's a great guy, and yeah, again, if we can find that GoFundMe or whatever it is, hopefully someone puts something together for him and the family, because it's got to be a tough time. Some more news. Obviously, Ring of Honor had their final show to this past weekend. I was not there personally, but I heard it was a great show. Heard lots of fun stuff happened there. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Did either of you guys get a chance to see the show?
I have not yet. I've been meaning to watch it. It's one of those. I got hooked on Dexter again.
I've seen different viral clips, but no, I didn't watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
I saw Braun. I saw FTR, the Briscoes,
the Titan.
Adam Scher.
It's a Ring of Honor. It sounds like they're going to keep doing shows, but just not like regular weeklies or anything like that. But they're going to do super shows. I believe April is the next one. Man, it feels like Ring of Honor. I was thinking about it. Has to be one of the most, at least in the past few decades, influential wrestling companies in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, look, once ECW and WCW all went away in a matter of months in 01, you know, TNA Impact, TNA was kind of its own thing, but Ring of Honor really it became the AAA, and I mean that is like in the minor league baseball analogy, not AAA, the company in Mexico. It became like the AAA for American wrestling on television in terms of, I mean, how many stars that the Punks, the Samoa Joes, I mean, Seth, everybody went through there. That was the place to go. And then even in the last, 5 to 10 years, it was a place where you could get a contract to be regularly employed, and then maybe if your deal allowed, so you could still work some other shows. I mean, it wasn't, obviously it wasn't WWE money, at least most guys, but it was, for guys and girls who were, once on the grind, making $50 a pop and the travel each week for every show or whatever. I mean, it did give you at least some kind of regular stability, and it got you on television. It was syndicated on Sinclair around the country. So again, a chance to be seen and elevate to the next place. So yeah, it going away it's a big deal. But I stand firm that everybody talks about AEW and WWE and this and that. Ring of Honor was the biggest victim to AEW's birth and success, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean NXT was kind of started to, stunt, Ring of Honor's growth there for a little bit. They kind of tried to make it their own Ring of Honor in a lot of ways. Man, I hope I hope it survives in some form, but at the same time, anyone worth signing is not going to just sit around waiting for, these individual random dates, come April. And Sinclair, granted, they have a lot of difficulties right now with a lot of their sports networks, their regional sports networks, but do I see them when the time comes being like, yeah, let's throw some money behind this to make a few $1,000s profit, with these house shows? I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope somehow something happens and it comes back bigger than ever. But when I'm looking at it realistically, I just don't see it.
I could be wrong, but I was under the impression it was going to be more like a couple shows a year that are just sort of big super shows and probably the available talent at the time more so than like, long term. I guess it kind of like what Pro Wrestling Guerrilla does, right? Like where they do a show and then a few months go by and they do another big show.
Yeah, there's going to be no more having guys exclusively signed to them or whatever. I mean, yeah, it's going to be exactly that. It's going to be, we're doing 10 shows this year, and you're going to get whatever talent that is available on that particular date. So it's going to make it harder for them to do. It's going to have its challenges of having a champion, having this and that, because of of navigating whoever you get the titles to are probably going to be in-demand talent on the independent scene. So navigating their schedules. So yeah, I mean, and to Raj's point, once the money pulls out and they change the situation and they go to just individual spot shows, once they pull out, they don't go back in. They don't reinvest all of a sudden. That's not going to happen.
Right. But I think it could be a good thing, because I think there's a lot of people who get, like, let's say, released from a contract and they want to up their value before signing another long-term contract. If you're someone who, let's say, was recently released from WWE and everyone says, like, let's say you are a Johnny Gargano and you want to go back to WWE, but you want to sort of show you can carry a company or something, or do big things or sell tickets or whatever the case may be without signing a 3-year deal somewhere.
Yeah, but I get that, Jack, but that would all depend on are these super Ring of Honor shows in the future, are they being televised anywhere, or are they being streamed? I mean, obviously they'll probably be streamed on Fight maybe because but like, yeah, to your example, for a Johnny Gargano or somebody to show the proverbial the office, the powers to be, to show that hey, I can hold a company. They has to be able to see it somewhere. Like what, like at least Ring of Honor, you could be in any hotel room and flick it on and you could see it.
I guess I'm thinking of kind of guys like Matt Cardona, who when he left WWE, you're like, okay, Zack Ryder, but now you see what he's doing in GCW and going to NWA and doing all this stuff, and you're kind of like, wow, he's actually pretty interesting. He's doing some cool stuff. I feel like his value actually has gone up a bit since he left WWE.
Yeah, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is what I was like. Basically, that's what I'm thinking. As opposed to, I think if he had signed with AEW right away, like a lot of people thought, he wouldn't have had the chance to do that, and he would have been just a guy in AEW. I think this is good for those people who want to show that they're more than just a guy and a brand, but they can be things. Like an EC3 is kind of doing a lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if it survives, again, you gotta a billion-dollar corporation that ultimately owns that, and is that a line item they want to even bother with, in April? I don't, again, I just, before ROH, it was doing good numbers in syndication, and that I felt like was their real value. It was on their Sinclair-owned properties and doing pretty decent numbers. Now you don't have that anymore, so I don't know.
Too bad. Too bad the WWE Network is not still the WWE Network, and it's all just stuff that they've just sold one big, paycheck to, where they collect one big paycheck from Peacock. If the WWE Network was still in its previous existence, I could easily see Vince going out and writing an easy check. I don't know what the 6-figure check, whatever it was, to get the ROH library. That would enhance the network so much, given all the talent that you have that has video in that library there.
Well, AEW has been wanting to expand their video library, and right now all their stuff is basically similar looking in the sense that it's all stuff from the last 2 years. So it's the setting of, granted you had the COVID shows, which didn't look the same, but for the most part, it's not a variety of content. And so adding something like an ROH would, I think kind of deepen that library pretty decently.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if AEW plans to go the streaming route like WWE and have a network or something, which I feel like nowadays that's what everyone wants to do.
Everything you're seeing, when I drove into New York a few weeks ago, all the billboards, there's nothing advertising something on cable. It's all streaming. It's, Hawkeye and shows I've never heard of that are on Hulu and whatnot. Yeah. So streaming is where the money and the effort's being pushed. When you talk about these wrestling shows and where they're ranked on cable and winning their time slot, it's like, look at what's on at that time slot at this, also when there's something real on, like a football or a basketball, they're not winning that. They're beating these shows that, are usually like lower budget reality shows, things like that. The real money for the scripted shows and the scripted programming, that's all going to streaming. And the ones that aren't, that are big, Yellowstone just kills everything right now on cable. So,
and a lot of those shows I still watch on Hulu when it comes available. I don't watch it. I wait for the show to be on Hulu before I watch. I don't actually sit down and wait for the show to start. Raw's the only show I do that for. That's not sports.
There's no scripted show I watch live. Even Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'll watch it the night of, but I'm not watching it live. Yeah.
And then what are we going to do when all wrestling's on streaming and the streaming platforms don't have to release numbers? So we won't have any ratings and demos to argue over.
We'll have nothing business wise. I guess it'll just be attendance or what the parent streaming companies are doing.
Well, that's actually a great segue as we talk about ratings. AEW Rampage drew 503,000 viewers on TNT, according to Nielsen. That's up by just under 1% from last week, and it got a 0.18 in the demo. SmackDown, on the other hand, got 2.142 million viewers, up 5.5% from last week, and it got a 0.50 in the demo. I was at SmackDown. I should have told you guys. I could have sent you some stuff. This is what's happening. But
way to go, Jack.
I know.
I'm the worst wrestling journalist. I'm here seeing it all. And I'm just watching the show. But great show, by the way. It was fun. I don't know how it came across. I didn't watch the show. I don't know how it came across, but that crowd, they loved Randy Orton. I'll tell you what, they were a big Randy Orton crowd. But any rating stuff to pull away from this one?
All 500,000 for Rampage there, but then all the buzz for Rampage all around one name, Hook. That's all the buzz from Rampage. Hook.
Yeah. Well, so it was barely up from last week. So this seems like I'm not talking about Hook. I'm just saying in general, this just seems where Rampage is kind of settling, the low 500s. The 0.18, it's tied for its second lowest rating in show history, which was tied, which it did last week and one other time, I think the week before as well. But the number of viewers it did in 18 to 49 was the second lowest of all the shows they've done. So, Rampage, that's kind of where it's at, with the time slot and everything. And just what people just see it as a B show. I mean, I don't think there's much you can do about that. And unless you start going live and move it to a different night, which isn't going to happen. And SmackDown actually should have been quite a bit higher. It was actually down from the overnights, and the reason why is because it was preempted in a bunch of markets because of news coverage for the storms that were happening. So a lot of people just saw the first 10 minutes of SmackDown, and then it went to news coverage. So it really probably should have been about 5% higher, probably like 2.3 million, which would have been its best number as far as the total audience since September. But yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, so that's what happened. It was a good week for SmackDown, and a normal kind of, for where Rampage is at, a normal week.
I want to give a quick shout out, by the way, to the nurses on SmackDown. I know this is a Raw show, but the two guys that brought out Sami Zayn, Beef Candy here for Championship Wrestling. Some guys that are on some shows around here, very entertaining fellows. It was really cool to see them on such a big stage and get that opportunity. They got chucked by Brock, but I think they did a good enough job. Shout out to them. Shout out to Beef Candy.
Beef Candy got tangled in the ropes the way Brock just slung them around.
Yeah,
I would not. Brock, sometimes I would not want it to, be one of those guys taking something from Brock. Anyone else? Do you remember that time Brock ripped off that car door and flung it like into the crowd?
Into the crowd, yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't know your own strength.
Yeah. But what are you going to do about it? It's Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah. Ricky Zaldivar saying prayers for Kentucky. Yes, absolutely. That's where I was born. I was born in Kentucky, and my sister both. Yeah, it's really insane what's going on over there, and the devastation and the photos that they show. It's just crazy. So I know WWE, they run a lot of spots for the American Red Cross and donating. So if you can, definitely do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely do that. But yeah, as far as the ratings go, just to kind of put a bow on that, I think probably about where they're supposed to be. But yeah, Brock just killing people. So much testosterone. Speaking of testosterone, Hone is a comprehensive hormone optimization clinic that helps men get their energy, focus, libido, and muscle mass by addressing low testosterone. Hone offers a home biomarker testing, in-depth physician video consults, and FDA-approved medication delivered straight to your door. Since it launched in 2020, Hone has helped thousands of men. No energy to make it through the day, having a hard time putting on muscle. Your libido is not what it used to be. Your hormones could be to blame. You want to bulk up, you want to get big, you want to take on guys like Brock Lesnar. I guess you need more testosterone. Testosterone levels have decreased substantially over the generations. Our father's generation had more testosterone. Their levels were at 25% higher rates than ours are today. The thing is, it's not our fault. There are many factors such as environmental changes that are affecting our generation today. 30 million men in the U.S. have low testosterone that are affecting their daily lives. Hone Health can help. Testosterone is more than just a sex hormone. It affects energy levels, muscle mass, focus, mood. Hone helps men get testing and treatment for low testosterone from the comfort of their home. It's an easy process where they collect a sample and you mail it to the lab. Once results are ready, a video chat with a real doctor happens, and the doctor will recommend a personalized treatment plan based on your biomarkers and symptoms. Treatments include FDA-approved medication delivered straight to your door. And I may not be a medical expert, but Hone is, and they'll be there with you every step of the way. Order Hone's easy-to-use at-home assessment test today to learn your testosterone levels. For a limited time only, listeners get the at-home testing and a doctor consultation for only $45. Go to honehealth.com/INC to take advantage now. That's Hone, HONE health.com/INC to get at-home testing and doctor consultation for $45. That one, I mean, $45 for a doctor consultation alone blows my mind. That's got to be a deal there, fellas.
Yeah, I've told you, I've talked this story, I've told the story a few times on this podcast with the sponsor. I'm well into my 40s. I'm a few years away from my viewership no longer mattering. And I have a lot of guys, a lot of my good friends who are in their 40s who, they've had their testosterone drop. Once you turn 40, that happens to a lot of people. And one of my good friends, we used to golf a lot, and then he just stopped going. He'd basically come home from work and just lie in bed, and he's just exhausted all the time. And so he, got his testosterone checked out. He had low T levels, and he met with the doctor, got everything. Cost hundreds of dollars to do it. So this is a much better solution. So if you feel like you're in that boat, you feel like you just need, you're just not what you used to be, and it's worth checking out.
Yeah, one of the things that's nice about it is you mentioned, Raj, that if you think that might be something, what's great is you get a test and they figure that stuff out for you. So you don't have to guess it. You don't have to wonder what your dose, you don't figure it out all on your own. They help you. So that's what's really cool about it. Check it out. $45. Treat yourself with a nice little Christmas gift this year. Now, let's get into Raw. Let's talk about Raw for a little bit. But again, real quick, thank you to everyone in the chat who's with us. Michael the Virus, Paul Scott, Oz, Hushberger, Tut Graf, and Sock Monkey Mike, who I saw at SmackDown, by the way. Shout out Sock Monkey Mike.
Nice.
So,
did he come up to you and introduce himself as Sock Monkey Mike?
No, I know him through other wrestling things.
Oh, okay. You're standing at the pissing trough, and he's looked over and goes, "Hey, Jack, I'm Sock Monkey Mike. How are you?"
We were the only two in there, and we were shoulder to shoulder. Like
he's just standing there pissing next to you, and he just goes, "Ah, yes." Like, comment, share, subscribe, 5-star reviews. You guys know the deal. Let's get into this show. We got a lot to cover here. Bobby Lashley comes out and he says, or MVP says, that Lashley should be in the title match at day one. Kevin Owens says you need to earn your way in, and Rollins says, I agree. Big E talks trash before the tag team general managers say if Bobby Lashley can beat all of them, he gets a shot tonight. Now, you guys know I love it when we have a storyline that starts at the beginning. It's going to play out through the show. So I was on board with this already. But Justin, how did you feel about the way the show kicked off? This doesn't do anything for me. I mean, like, I have mad respect for Bobby Lashley and the shape that he's in and the gauntlet that he ran tonight. It's not like he was just out there for like 40 minutes straight, just getting it all done. It's like he did a match, he did a promo, and he goes back as a match. I mean, like, so it's space. So he's got to remain loose and ready the whole night, which, I mean, that's something. So I mean, I give respect to that. But in terms of the actual story, I mean, and it was confusing too. There was times where it was like, is Bobby the heel, or am I supposed to be feeling bad for him? Like, I don't know. Like I don't know. This doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'd rather you just come out and tell me that it's going to be a fatal 4-way, and all four of these guys have separate singles matches against random opponents, and they're all just effing with each other. And I mean, that to me, I get trying to have a thread of hang on all 3 hours to watch to see if Bobby's going to get himself in the match, but I can promise you the third hour will be the lowest of the 3 hours again. So,
yeah, Raj, do you like the setup of the show?
I like it better than what they usually do. I do, you know me. I like stakes. I like, for there to be a reason why you're doing these matches. I did think it was a very babyface predicament they put him in, and at the end, it almost looked like he was turning babyface. I almost felt like they should have. This probably would have been as good a time as any, because I feel like he's, Bobby has probably plateaued a little as a heel, and I think a babyface run would freshen him up. But that being said, it was fine. I thought Lashley looked great. He had the Santa colors on, just looking sharp in that suit. He had a suit. MVP had a suit. Seth Rollins. It was high fashion with this opening segment.
This was a very fashionable. I wonder if Owens ever feels underdressed when he comes out in those segments.
I don't think he does.
So after this, we get a backstage promo with RK Bro. They made fun of podcasters. How dare they? They made fun of the Jackass guys, and then they made fun of Matt Riddle being a shaman. Orton says that if he can beat Otis, maybe he'll put the blazer back on, which may have been a giveaway that he wasn't going to win because Riddle faced Otis, and surprise, surprise, Otis gets a win over Matt Riddle. And then he even flattens Randy Orton after the match. I was blown away by the fact that Otis came off looking like a monster after this. Raj, is Otis the next world champion?
I have a feeling this is going to be one of those 3-week pushes that they forget about.
Yeah.
And, with Riddle, I'm assuming the end game is for him to face Randy Orton. And if you're going to do that, you need to stop making him look like such a scrub all the time. And, it's one thing for him to get beat here and there, but he's getting beaten and laid out all the time. And no one's going to buy him against Orton with just how much you're making him look like a Santino Marella, like that kind of level wrestler when he shouldn't be. I think you need to start protecting him more, giving him some wins. Let Randy take some of the losses when they do lose. And then I think that feud will mean so much more when it comes.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I noticed one. I was like, all right, we've seen this already with Vince having like a short-term love affair with him. I mean, hence that he won the Money in the Bank when he was a babyface. And then, now he's, they stripped him of all that personality. Now he's just a big, meaty guy who's a bad guy. Same thing. I have a feeling like he caught Vince's eye at the right time. And all of a sudden, maybe Vince saw him eating a steak as rare as can be, or eating, 4 hard-boiled eggs at a time, and went, yes. And all of a sudden, that he's going to get a win. I don't know, but
I like to imagine that Vince saw him now with the shaved head and no beard, and didn't realize it was the same guy that won Money in the Bank.
You know what? I bet you he probably didn't realize it was Otis's hometown, because if he did, I think Otis would not have been winning here.
Oh, was it Otis? Otis? Oh, yeah. So that.
I thought he's from Wisconsin. Or is it Minnesota?
I thought he was born. It could be. I'll double check that.
I thought he was Wisconsin because I always compare because of like the Farley comparison, and Chris Farley is from Wisconsin.
What city were they from tonight?
They're in St. Paul, Minnesota tonight.
By the way, Otis winning Money in the Bank. How does that feel like it was 10 years ago? Jeez Louise.
Otis with Mandy Rose. Doesn't that feel like 10 years ago? Like that whole storyline, he was like the hottest thing in the company, and that pandemic just screwed up his push.
If you would have asked me
before the Shield debuted, right?
If you would have asked me then, who do I think in December of 2021? Like I would have never that Otis is the bad guy doing this bad guy tag team, and Mandy's heading up this female group in NXT. Like I would have not predicted that trajectory.
Not at all. No. So Otis is from Duluth, Minnesota.
There we go.
Minnesota. I feel like they count it if it's your
home state.
Yeah. So after this, we get Bianca Belair versus Doudrop. Doudrop with new music, I believe.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought that sounded new.
But I thought this was a fun match. I thought both of them came out looking great. Bianca hits a massive power bomb and a 450 splash to get the win. Doudrop attacks her afterwards. So don't worry, guys. We'll get this one again. We're going to run it back, I think. But on its own, Justin, this was a fun one, right?
Yeah, the match was fine. But Doudrop loses here. Like, this should be the end of it. Like, I don't know. So whatever. But it was new music for Doudrop. I don't mind them saying, okay, Spirit Fingers babyface Doudrop wasn't working. We're going to shift her to be heel. I think it's fine. Whatever. I mean, she is bigger, obviously, in size, and that just tends to go well, guy or girl, to be a heel. So like, I'm fine with that. And I kind of liked a little bit more seriousness because she can go in the ring. I just wish they would just swallow their foolish pride and just change the name. Go back to let her be Piper Niven. Don't like Doudrop is just the epitome of just foolish pride. We're not going to go back on it.
Now, yeah, to your point, Justin and Raj, I want to get your take on this. The way this match played out, outside of the attack outs afterwards, it felt like the last match with Bianca having to resort to the 450 to get the win. This felt like the end of the rivalry. I mean, obviously it's not, but where do we go from here? Yeah,
just storyline wise, once you have someone beat someone clean in a rematch, because they had that first match last week. Was that last week their second match? Or was it their first?
I want to say it was.
I thought it was the first.
So this was their second. It feels like they've wrestled a few times before, but maybe I'm thinking
they've had some promos and interactions with each other.
Yeah. But once you beat someone clean, unless you have a shift in the story, like a reason why it should continue, like someone returns and help Doudrop win, or Bianca cheated to win, or it was a disputed finish. Once you do a clean finish and no change in the story, it makes no sense to continue on with it. So it's just WWE. Sometimes they just get in this this phase where all they can do is just have the same people wrestle every week, even though the story isn't evolving or changing. And it feels like we're headed that way with Bianca and Doudrop. Probably next week, we'll probably see a tag match with them on opposite sides.
Oh, no. They'll be on the same side to see if they can coexist.
To see if they can coexist.
Yeah, that last week, the bummer was it felt like they were building up to a can Bianca lift Doudrop? And that was nothing, but can it coexist? Yes. For the audio versions, we have a nice big "Can They Coexist" banner across the screen here. Audio, you guys miss out on some great visuals. And speaking of great visuals, if you're looking for a special gift for someone this holiday season, something truly unique and personal, we've got a great idea for you at paintyourlife.com. You can have an original painting by a world-class artist done by hand from any photo at an affordable price. If you want to give a truly meaningful gift, you've got to try paintyourlife.com. Meaningful, personal, and can be cherished forever. You can order a custom-made, hand-painted portrait in less than 5 minutes. Makes the perfect holiday gift for someone you love, or if you're like me, for yourself. Now, Raj, you have a great one that you've done with the family.
I do. I show it every time, but here it is. There we go. This was at Red Rocks. Cool picture we took. We had the regular photo hanging up, and then we used Paint Your Life, and it's so much cooler like this. It went from just being a picture to art, and they did a fantastic job. And it's not like you send the photo and they just mail you the painting. They send you proofs. You could let them know if there's any revisions, things that need to be changed, things that need to be altered. You give them all the instructions, and they keep working on it until you're 100% satisfied. And man, I'm looking to get another. I know Christmas is coming up quick, but this is one of those gifts that it's great anytime, because it's not like you're just going to use it over the holidays, or this is something that could be a part of your living room or your hallway forever. So it's a really cool product.
What's nice about it, too, as a gift giver, if you just blow up a photo and put it in a frame, people go, oh, you went to CVS or whatever drugstore nearby and you blew up a photo. Big deal. But if you get a painting, it's a real gift, and it looks nice, and it looks like you put more thought into it. But what's beautiful about it, you can do it from your home, from your computer. So it doesn't even take that much work. It's easy and it's affordable, and you look like a great gift giver. You guys should all try it at paintyourlife.com. There's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded, guaranteed. And right now, as a limited time offer, get 20% off your painting. That's right, 20% off and free shipping. To get this special offer, text the word wrestling to 64,000. That's wrestling to 64,000. Text wrestling to 64,000. Paint your life. Celebrate the moments that matter most. And we have that on the screen here for you watching on the video version.
Kevin there, but there it is. Text wrestling to 64000.
So if you don't know how to spell wrestling or 64,000.
Well, I had test wrestling earlier.
So
anyway.
Kevin Owens takes on Bobby Lashley in the first of the qualifying matches. This is where, because you had talked about, like, are we cheering for Bobby Lashley? Are we booing him? He fist bumped Gable Stevenson. It's not Stevenson, but
Stevenson. And then my autocorrect always changes that, and I have to go back and
no end Stevenson.
Yeah, my autocorrect changed it, and I was like, wait, how was I supposed to say it? But anyways,
I got a new iPhone, and like the first night I was tweeting during NXT 2.0, and now anytime I want to type 20, like when I'm tweeting, it automatically is changing it to 2.0. It's just driving me nuts. And when I'm sending a text message, it's like it learned 2.0 instead of 20.
the worst of the things nuts. For it to get to remember it.
Raj, for 9 years I did Chair Shot Reality. You would not believe over 9 years and several devices how many times my device is autocorrected to Chair Shit Reality. You would think it would have learned it eventually, but no. I apparently type shit more than I type shot.
Right. By the way, that sounds like the name of your new album or something.
Chair Shot Reality?
Chair Shit Reality.
Chair Shit Reality.
Chair Shit Reality.
Mike D in the chat real quick before we talk about this says, do you think Rick Martel will ever do an interview?
He's done one. If you look on YouTube, you can find it. That's about it. That's all I've seen, man. He has no interest in doing any interviews or anything. I don't even think he was not on the Dino Bravo Dark Side of the Ring, right? Like they talked about him, but yeah, he didn't even do those shows. So I don't see it happening.
I had a buddy dress up as Rick Martel for Halloween one year, and surprising amount of people loved it. By the way, I was shocked so many people knew who he was. But Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, kind of a quick one, sort of a greatest hits match where they sort of went through their moves. KO quits early so he can save himself, and Seth Rollins is up next. But Raj, to your point, I didn't know. I felt like I was supposed to cheer for him because I was thinking about the old video where we saw he was in the military and that kind of stuff, and then now he's fist bumping Gable. Seems like we were supposed to like him throughout this one.
Kevin Owens was definitely playing the heel in this match, and at the end, Lashley was about to get him in the full Nelson, and Kevin Owens just submitted and ran off, which I actually thought that was great. I thought it was funny because he knew he was going to get in it, avoid the pain. So it was a great heel move. And I like that it wasn't long. When they announced this, I thought it was going to be a gauntlet match. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys remember, maybe it was like a year ago or 2 years ago, they did a gauntlet match. It was like an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. It was like half the show that they did. And so I was like, oh shit, this is going to be like the whole third hour is going to be this match. And then they did this one. It was quick. It was easy. You knew who was going to win right off the bat. So I liked it. I thought it was great for what it was. It told a good story, and Owens was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a good heel move by Owens to like spare himself from the pain. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like the match was for a title or anything. So, but yeah, kind of like babies, Bobby Lashley. It's kind of like the fans like, oh, we want to see the heel Kevin Owens get hurt, and he can't get in the hurt lockers. So it just, again, this is where my confusion really started to perk up of like, well, what am I supposed to be doing here with Bobby Lashley? Am I supposed to be like feeling bad for him?
Yeah, and it feels like fans, like they were reacting most to Lashley late in the night when it looked like he was turning babyface. Like when he put when him and Big E were working there together for a minute. That's when the fans were most with Lashley. I think the fans want Lashley as a babyface and don't know how to react to him as a heel anymore. They were kind of quiet for him.
And I got to give him this credit too. It's not a new thing. He's been doing this. I think the little touch that Lashley does, with the spear, a lot of guys do spears. The fact that he rolls forward and through, like he spears and rolls forward and through, visually, if you just watch it in motion, it makes his spear look that much more devastating. His spear, in reality, is not. It's actually a very light spear if you look at the physicality of it. But him rolling through the way he does, and it looks really good. Something different. Little things.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't do spears very well. I mean, I say that as someone who couldn't do one myself, but I feel like a lot of them don't look as good. But
that's the most painful thing I've ever. I've taken a lot of things in the ring before. That's the most painful thing I've ever took, because if somebody hits you with the spear and they hit it wrong, and they hit you too high,
right?
Like, it is, you're done. So you feel like you're out of air. You're done.
Oh
yeah, I mean, some of them look terrible, like terrifyingly painful. But
Goldberg's looked like it would rip you in half.
Oh, Goldberg's his looked the best.
Back in the day, especially, Jesus.
To this day, his are my favorite. But of course, I'm not the one taking them. Oz in the chat says, "Hey guys, hi Jack. Thoughts on Ring of Honor Final Battle? We touched on it at the beginning of the show, so I won't go into it too much. But haven't actually had a chance to see the show itself yet. But happy thoughts for Ring of Honor. Hope they do more stuff. Speaking of someone I hope to see do more stuff, Veer has a new video package, and now he's talking in this one. Raj, you seem like someone who understands odds. What are the odds Veer has a match before the end of 2022 at this rate?
I don't see it happen. Maybe the Rumble. Maybe he comes in for a spot.
I mean, at the rate he's going, it's going to be like a year and a half before he actually shows up.
Back in the day when they would do these vignettes, it was clear that they had a plan. Like, we're going to do these vignettes up until the pay-per-view. They debut the night after the pay-per-view, and who they're going to feud with right away. Now, as we've seen with Elias, we're seeing this with Veer. It just seems like it's just something to do because they have no idea what to do with these talents. And then when it comes around to doing something with them, they don't know what to do.
And Raj, I miss the journey. Remember the journey it used to be when they would have vignettes of a new superstar coming? It was like you'd see we'll go Razor Ramon maybe or something, or like you'd see them doing this, see them doing that, and every single one each week was Razor Ramon. He's coming to the World Wrestling Federation. It was like they were fucking hitchhiking across the country. You just couldn't wait for them to get there. They were coming. They were on their way.
Val Venus.
Yeah, he had to stop and bang this girl, and he's on his way, ladies.
Yeah, Val Venus made sense. He had some things to do before he showed up.
It felt like a journey.
Yeah, you're excited when they finally come.
You were. Now it's literally a punchline game of no chance we see them before the next moon cycle. Like that's
And they pretty much air the same, the same promo. It's like maybe a little different here and there, but it looks the same. It's not a different setting. It's not them saying something different. But yeah, these vignettes they just don't do what they're supposed to do, which is get you excited for a talent to debut. Especially because we've seen Veer for a long time too.
Right.
It's not like they've really changed his gimmick or anything either.
Yeah, these videos don't tell me what to think about him either. Like usually a good video should at least let me know what he's about, but really it's just like, I'm Veer.
He kills tigers or something.
To be fair, that's pretty intimidating. If someone kills,
I don't think that's legal in India. I don't think you can do that.
Tiger King has a word for you. Veer.
I'm trying to think of the last like string of vignettes that really like were good and then did justice when like there was a debut. Maybe they didn't pan out to be like Wyatt's in like 2013ish. Here's one. The superstar or the character did not. It was really quick out the bat with Cena and Punk, I even believe. When Matt Bloom came back over as Lord Tensai, the vignettes, and then when the hood came off and people kind of knew it was him because they saw the tattoos, and there was a pop. Tensai actually was, and like he was positioned as a top star for like 2 months, and then all of a sudden it just crapped out.
Right.
He's one of the things.
Becky Lynch comes out. She says that fans don't know what they want. Can't argue with her on that one. Then it reminds us how great Becky is. Liv says she got over the loss, but she knows she can beat Becky. Liv wants a match at day one, so Becky stomps Liv's arm like she's Shayna Baszler and says, sure, day one, let's do it again. Let's run it back, as they say. Justin, how do you feel about what Becky's been doing as champ so far in this rivalry with Liv Morgan?
Well, like in terms of Becky, I don't know why we're trying so hard to do this heel Becky. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with her being Becky with an edge, and I don't use this lightly, but like I'm fine with like the Stone Cold Steve Austin approach of like she's not gonna play up like a baby would, but she's not gonna cheat like a heel. She's just gonna be hard ass, but she's always working against other heels. I guess I don't know. I feel like this is so forceful. I think they're trying to force this Becky as a heel thing. I just don't buy it. But at the same point, then there's Liv. So I feel like Liv, we talked about this, I think, last week, that I'm like, you got something here. Let's not ignore that. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this attempted heel Becky.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle. It reminds me, it's like the opposite of Roman Reigns 8 years ago, where they're trying so hard to get everyone to cheer Roman. Now they're trying so hard to get everyone to boo Becky. And when you have so few top baby faces, especially on the Raw side, you got really like the superstar baby faces. I hope Big E will get there. I don't think he's there yet. I mean, it's like Edge and Randy Orton. And Becky Lynch was there, but now she's a heel. So I just feel like it's just a waste. And why bother? The fans are still cheering Becky when they're booing her. They don't really want to boo her. They're just doing it, just because they know they're supposed to. So.
Yeah,
but
sorry, what was you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say with Liv, I don't think they're gonna be Becky. And if you do a non-finish, that kind of sucks when you do the finish on TV and the non-finish on pay-per-view. So I don't know. I would guess Liv takes another defeat.
Jack, which nickname do you prefer? Big Time Bex or The Man?
I actually like The Man. I'm gonna go with The Man. I know I'm an outlier there. I don't like Big Time Bex. It sounds like a circus.
The one thing that I like better about Big Time Bex is The Man. You'd probably have to explain that to a non-wrestling fan.
That's true. That is true.
I was trying to set you up for Manscaped, and then you made me laugh at the circus punchline.
Oh, we should have worked that out. That would have been a good.
The circus line's pretty good though.
It is.
It's really good.
I feel like whenever I see one, I don't like when people everyone likes Becky. Why are we trying to make her just do
right?
what people want?
Right,
we want to like her.
It's so hard in this day and age of 2021 to get organic baby faces. And she's organic baby face and appeal. So why would you push against that?
Yeah. It's hard to be liked.
And you know what? I actually agree with AEW turning Bryan Danielson heel. I think he's super entertaining, but it's kind of one of those where the fans, they don't really hate Bryan Danielson. They really like him. They're just going along with the show. With Becky, it's I don't know. It's one thing if they had a big feud, like they get Bryan Danielson, they got Adam Page, they got this big match. With Becky, they don't really have that ultra baby face that they're building, that it makes sense to turn Becky heel.
They had one, but then Becky squashed her for 2 months straight. So here we are. In the chat, and I apologize if I say your name wrong. Araceli Bernardo said, sad to see John Morrison and Jackson Riker in Veer's segment. They had so much more to accomplish in WWE. Wasted potential. Frowny face. I feel like John Morrison just is I feel like he's the kind of guy you want. You can put him out there every week and it'll work. I
thought I felt like there was so much untapped there with John Morrison. And when they split him to Miz up, I just feel like it was a missed opportunity. Instead, they had him doing yoga in the back, and they just went nowhere with him after that.
John Morrison's still one of the best entrances WWE's ever done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he's also a Jeff Hardy, I think, where people want to cheer for him and you can put him in any situation. You'll go, okay, I'll buy that. I'm happy to see that happen. But I guess we'll see him do it somewhere else. We get a couple of backstage promos. One is AJ saying he's not giving up on Omos, and Omos says, hey, I'm not giving up on you either. We go from that team up to a 24/7 walk in the park with Dana Brooke and Reggie. And Tamina is now one of the 24/7 competitors. A couple of quick backstage segments. Justin, it looks like Omos and AJ, that's just all water under the bridge. They're ready to go get those tag team titles, right?
Until one of them eliminates the other one in the Royal Rumble.
That seems like what's going to happen.
You think they'll go that far?
Yeah, I mean, Rumble's a month away?
A month and a half.
Yeah, I think they can build it, or they can build it so there's tension. Are they on the same page? Obviously, Omos is prime for every freaking person in the ring to try to eliminate him at the same time. They can definitely set something up with them if whoever eliminates who. I mean, that's the Mania match, right? Is Omos versus AJ?
I don't know.
I mean, that's more than 3 weeks away. I can't think that far ahead.
As far as keeping it going, I mean, they did do Bayley and Sasha for 3 years, so maybe they will.
So Reggie walking backstage, by the way, with Dana Brooke here. Reggie, he's hanging out with Shayna Baszler. He's hanging out with Nia Jax. Now he's hanging out with Sasha Banks. Now he's hanging out with Dana Brooke. Reggie, he's got some moves, I think, Raj.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to pull something from this segment here.
I have nothing to say about this segment. Nothing that I haven't said 100 times, where I'm just so done with this 24/7 title.
Anything to add, Justin, to 24/7? Nope.
Sometimes there's segments that we don't have to talk about.
Oz in the chat sends over a super sticker. So thank you for that, Oz.
Thank you, Oz.
What currency is that? I see.
I don't know.
It's
Australian?
Well, it's going to Raj's bank account. Bless you, Oz. We appreciate it.
Yes. So we get Finn Balor and Damian Priest teaming up to take on the Dirty Dogs. The story here, Austin Theory jumps in, gets a selfie, and that leads to Balor getting distracted and getting pinned. Theory gets another selfie. Priest chases him off. This definitely felt like a little bit of a holdover match so that we could get Austin Theory out there and get Damian Priest out there. Not really sure there was much more to it. But Justin, what were your thoughts on this whole setup?
No, you hit it. Yeah, this was they're going to continue to feature Priest, which I have no problems with. I think Damian Priest is I think he has to be one of the 5 considerations for Rumble. I really do. The way he's been booked since last Rumble. I mean, Damian Priest does not lose. I mean, he's being booked so consistently, which is, again, that's hard to do consistently in this day and age of Raw. So yeah, get him out there. You know, Finn, he's the one that gets the pin. That tells you what you need to know there. I mean, you know, but yeah, it was for let's feature Priest. Austin Theory obviously needs to try to impress Vince, which we'll get to, I'm sure, in a second. And that's all this. That's all this was.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because, to your point, Damian Priest does not lose, and the Dirty Dogs do not win. You know, I think they won like one match against the Street Profits. You know, in like the last 6 months, as far as tag matches go.
The unstoppable force and the immovable object. Something gotta give you.
It's amazing if you think. I hate the Dirty Dogs. Like I like them individually, Dolph and Rude. They're, you know, but I hate the Dirty Dogs thing. It's amazing when you think about. I think Dolph Ziggler is probably the longest tenured guy on the roster, right? Like full-time guy.
Maybe Randy Orton.
Oh, okay, yeah, Orton. But yeah, you're right. Good call. It's amazing though. Like I kind of want both Dolph and Rude to leave the company, not because I wish I want bad on them. I know that both, especially Dolph, are financially fine. I want them to be out of the company so they can just do something fresh and different on their own terms. Because I feel like Dolph has been like the ultimate team player, and I just go somewhere else, do something else, Nick Nemeth, so we can cheer you somewhere else.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so talented. Rude, by the way, as well. Also amazing. But here we are.
Yeah. It's clear, you know, the company sees them in a certain role. They're not going to change their minds on that. It's been like that forever. So that's where they're going to be.
We get a backstage segment. Nikki ASH is doubting herself. Ripley tries to pump her up. We get a match, Ripley versus Vega. Vega talks some trash on the way out to the ring, and it's a very quick one with Vega getting the win over Ripley because of Nikki. Building up confrontation here. This is team 3 that we all see breaking up in the near future. It's funny, the team we want to break up and go their separate ways so they can be more successful, the Dirty Dogs, they're not going anywhere. But the other teams just destined for destruction. Raj, who's turning on who, Nikki or Ripley?
I think it's got to be Nikki, and they're burying her so much on commentary that I hope they have a plan for her. Otherwise, she's going to come out worse out of this than better. I got to say that backstage segment with Rhea Ripley, they do not know how to script for Rhea Ripley, and she does not know how to read what they're scripting her, because it just felt like she was reading from a note card or something. That system does not work for her. She needs to be herself, and they're not letting that happen.
Yeah, there's not one writer in that writer's room that's going for drinks with Rhea Ripley that has anything of. And I agree. I think Nikki's the one that turns, but I'm pretty close to guaranteeing they have no plan after the turn.
I hope they drop the ASH stuff when she does turn.
They will, but like, does she go back to being like Sanity, Looney Bin, pay homage to Daphne, Nikki Cross, or I don't think they have a plan. So
we talk about that big superstar character. I feel like Rhea Ripley should be that person. I think she just seems like she could be a massive star as well, but
yeah, they just don't get her.
Don't know how to script her. But speaking of scripts, I have one to read. It's holiday season, and that means there are stockings to be stuffed and elves to be cuffed. Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has gone global with the tools to guarantee you will score under the tree and the mistletoe. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. Get 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com with code WINC20. Ho, 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 naughty or nice, 'tis the season to trim. Let's not forget the famous liquid formulations that Manscaped also offers, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, to maximize your body hygiene routine. I've been trying their shampoo and body wash recently. All very good stuff.
I've got the body wash right now.
It's
Me too.
awesome. Comes in a nice recyclable metal as well, so it's not just the plastics if you're conscious about that. But now they have this surefire stocking stuffer plan here. They have the Manscaped signature cologne, the Shears 2.0 luxury 4-piece nail kit, the Crop Mops body wipes, the Crop Reviver groin toner and refresher. All small enough to fit in the stocking, big enough to change a man's life. These formulations are also vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, so you know your products are legit. Make sure you hurry to their site to ensure these wild gifts show up before the holiday season. And while you're at it, get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code WINC20. Whether this is for your partner, your dad, your brother, your friend, get them something they will actually use. And it's also sure to get a laugh. Get it for yourself. That's what I say. Be selfish this holiday season. Get yourself some. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code WINC20. Groom like Santa's watching with Manscaped.
It's great. Every product you just talked about, Jack, I have all of them and I love them. I love the new body wash they have, the lawnmower, the crop, the ball toner, everything, like the shaving kit, like everything. It's just, even the boxers, everything is just like, everything is just quality. It's nice. I don't know. And it does the trick, like, if you're, whether you're single and every day is a game day, or whether you're married and you're building and you're
on a part-timer schedule,
you're planning towards your game day. It's always good to have your Manscaped has been great. I love it. I really love their products. So
and when you do the whole grooming, you feel like a new man when you do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's and the toner and everything. It's great. And to your point, Justin, I've used so much of their stuff that they send over the years, and that I bought, and from the travel kit, with the nail cutters and the file and everything, and everything has just been top notch.
The trick is too, like it reduces that risk of, like, in terms of the actual manscaping portion with the lawnmower, like it reduces the chance that you're going to hurt yourself. Like is it like ceramic? There's a thing there underneath the blade that, like, it just protects you, but it's got the light, the LED light that helps you just see what you're doing. It's good products, and then all the accessories go with it perfectly.
Yeah, it's one of those products that, like, for a long time I was skeptical. I was like, oh, this is just one of those marketing things that, like, sounds funny and kind of lives off of that. But all their stuff is really good. Like, it's actually really, really good stuff. So definitely try it out. Backstage, Kevin Owens says he's going to help Rollins, and Rollins doesn't want KO's help. So Rollins has a match with Bobby Lashley now. It's match 2. This one's really short before Kevin Owens attacks Rollins. Rollins gets the wins via DQ, but the match gets restarted as a no DQ, and Lashley picks up the quick win. This one again starting to feel like, am I supposed to cheer for Lashley? Also, and this is a reoccurring thing, feel like, do I cheer for the GMs at this point? I don't know where they stand on things. And kind of confusing, but it gets us to the next step. Justin, I actually am really, really loving Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins working together and their chemistry together. Am I crazy for this one?
No, they have chemistry. They do. Yeah, that's all fine and good. And and turning it into no DQ makes sense because of the obvious, like, workaround cheat code they tried to implement. It is this is universal to both shows. It is especially Raw, because Vince has been showing up on Raw. It is weird. So we have Vince back on Raw, like, and Austin Theory, soliciting him for matches and whatever else. It's like you have Vince on TV, but then you still have these de facto 2 decision makers who we know have no decision making. Like that's what I always appreciated. At least was, screw the Constable Corbins and the GM Kurt Angle and Paige for a minute was a GM. Not believable. I'm always fine with a McMahon being the GM because I believe that they actually have true say, because they do have true say what's going on. And it's super highlighted when you have these manufactured authority figures and then a McMahon appearing on the same show with the ability to make decisions. So they really need to, I don't know, figure this out. And why both of them are on Raw and SmackDown, I mean, I don't know that again. Do they get a bonus for taking care of both shows? I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't it make sense if you have two separate brands and you don't need two people to make one announcement? Have Sonya Deville on SmackDown and Adam Pearce on Raw, or vice versa. It just makes all the sense in the world. It doesn't make sense to me why they're both doing the same job.
It was really confusing. I don't like to nitpick, obviously, on this show, but
Nitpick.
Adam Pearce, I love Adam Pearce, but there was like this was a moment that very much confused me. He comes out and after this DQ, he said, "It's not going down like that in St. Paul, Minnesota," as he's wearing a Green Bay
Packers tie. Right.
Like, what are you doing? Like, are you who's?
Maybe that was the point. Maybe he's trying to be the subtle heel.
No, it's a great call. He's trying to get the hometown local pop of, we're going to give you better than that, St. Paul, while he's wearing the arch enemy's tie.
Like, yeah, I was like, come on. Like, that was a bad play there. But we progress the storyline. We move on. You had mentioned, Justin, backstage, Vince McMahon chatting with Apollo. And then Austin Theory barges in, and Austin Theory wants a match, and Vince says he doesn't like Theory and says he's going to show him how the eraser is the most important part of the pencil. Raj, I don't want to be dark here, but it feels like this is an actual conversation that's happened with many wrestlers over the past few years, of someone going into Vince's office and saying, "Hey, can I get a match on Raw?" And him saying, "You don't impress me."
At least you understood what Vince was saying, because his voice is. I mean, I just cannot. I could understood like 30% of what he was saying, because the rest was.
It's so low. It's so low and gravelly. The boom mics are having a hard time picking it up.
Right.
The trick is you have to feel what he's saying with the gravel. You don't listen. You feel in your chest. You're like, oh, okay.
You get out there and you.
He does. He does this big build to this lethal weapon. And he pulls out a pencil. And yes, Jack, I do. I know that this is a true story. I know there have been on-air talents who, in the past, through the WWE years, have been in meetings with Vince, and maybe not a pencil, but Vince has supplied them other desk or office supplies and had them sell him on that office supply. So I do think this is not too far-fetched from a true Vince meta situation.
That being said, the whole segment was just awkward. It was just weird. I don't know. Yeah, I expect more out of my Vince segments. You don't see him that often. You want more, and him not understanding what he's saying and pulling out a pencil. Like, what does that mean?
I'll tell you what it means. He showed him the eraser. He's going to erase Austin from his name, and he's going to go by Theory from now on.
Can't have two Austins,
Jack. That might exactly be what happens.
Like I said, you got to feel him, Justin.
I'm dead serious. That might exactly be what happens.
Yeah.
Probably. You're just going to be called Theory. That is. You are so close to hitting this on the head. It's scary.
God, I hope we're wrong.
But Raj, he's not. He's got a better chance of being right.
That's
what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna brag about it for the rest of my days for getting one correct prediction.
Jack, how old are you?
I'm old. I'm not old. I'm 39.
Okay, so you'll be able to brag that 39-year-old Jack Farmer in his mind was able to hone in on 76-year-old Vince.
Almost twice my age, Vince. Almost.
Respect to you, Jack.
At one time, he was twice my age. Not anymore. Math is fun. Speaking of math is fun, Miz says he should be the Hall of Fame, go into the Hall of Fame for 2022. Edge comes out and they have a promo battle, which sounds basically the same as last week's promo, to be honest. But they get into a fight and Maurice almost gets hurt, so she smacks Miz in the face and walks off. This felt, promo-wise, it felt the same as last week, but it feels like now we've added a layer of Maurice is not happy about it. Raj, did this add to this rivalry? Pull it back? The Maurice wrinkle.
It almost felt like they were writing her off TV again, and which is weird because I thought they were going to go with the Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Maurice, and I could be completely wrong. It just that's what I kind of got out of it when they did it. But I thought the Hall of Fame video was pretty funny. It almost looked real, so
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, the rest of the promo just seemed the same. Edge, I don't know if Edge is losing a lot of weight or something, but he just looks really different.
Yeah, I was surprised by the execution of what happened here, but I do think that to what Roger said, I do think still the end game. I don't know if it's as soon as January 1. It won't be January 1 because that's just going to be Miz and Edge, but the end game is going to happen of a mixed tag. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth. So how they work in the dynamic of Maurice being mad that Miz kind of used her or whatever, how they get to that point. I think that's where we're going to get to, whether again Rumble or Mania or whatever it is. But I think that's the inevitable situation, which will be fun. I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I would like to see. I'd like to see it. Ross, to your point of her being written off, I was going to say I don't know if she needs to be written off at this point. She's only been back for one episode.
Yeah. She's the second episode, right?
So like, I feel like if she just didn't come back, we would be okay. But yeah, it feels like it makes sense to have a mixed tag team with everyone involved. But we'll see.
And you know what? A lot of times they'll do these random things on shows for the reality shows. Like they'll do a thing for Total Divas where there's some angle that doesn't really make sense, and later you see it on Total Divas. So this could be something for Miz and Maurice too. Who knows?
My guess is if Miz and Edge are on a straight up one-on-one on January 1, is that between now and then we think that there's problems with Miz and Maurice. Maurice is going to come in, help Miz win, and then that's going to lead to Beth coming into the fold. And
good call.
They were playing us the whole time, Corey, blah, blah, blah. And Corey Graves going to say, this is brilliant. Yeah, you're right. I can see it. And then he'll say, shut up, Byron, for some reason. Because
that's what he does.
That's what he does. So we get to the main event. Backstage, Rollins and KO are saying, we're going to help you, Big E. And Big E's like, please don't. This was a heavy hitting match. I liked it. Big E, or Lashley hoisted up Big E a couple times, like he weighed 1 pound. The steel step slam, I just have my notes because it looked like he broke Lashley's back there. But the story is obviously KO and Rollins, they get involved, they get fought off, then MVP gets involved, and Lashley gets the win, and that's a fatal 4-way at day 1. Justin, is Big E easier to beat now that he's the champion? Because it feels like he's not winning very often for a champion.
But that's the story of well, Roman's an exempt because Roman's in that elite class. But I mean, that's WWE 50-50. It's like that's WWE 50-50 booking. It's for as much as I might then get pissed off on Wednesday nights when I'm on here with Alfred about AEW's insistence to have a finish to a match. They have to have a winner and a loser, even if it means just complete burial of the refs and the rules of a pro wrestling match. They at least don't cop out to easy, DQ finishes or some of the things we saw tonight. Yeah, but Big E's over. It's over. He's over. So I don't know. I don't think anything was harmed here. I got to say too. Also, we didn't touch on this. Shout out to the night of Big E standing backstage watching the matches preceding him. And the comedy that was of him scribbling frantic notes and I mean it was really good. Taking something that is it's such a WWE trope. WWE has certain things they do. The backstage announcer has to approach it in the same way of, can I have a word with you? I have this hard hitting question, or my guest at this time. It's not organic. It's so forced and bad, whatever. But then there's always the wrestler watching the monitor. That's their scouting process, right? And Big E, it's almost like he's kind of making fun of it, and it's great that it makes the air.
It's hilarious because he's completely turned around.
Oh my god, it's great! It's great. His back's to the monitor. He's scribbling notes. It's hilarious.
It felt like they were joking around about it, and then he said, "I'm just going to try it, and if they let it go, they're going to let it go." But I think it's almost like he expected them to get someone. You can't do that. Let's redo it with like.
Well, what's great? There's not a redo because it is a live shot. Right. Because the monitor is showing with live. It is a live shot. So it's not like it's not a pre-tape that has to get approved or they can. So it is something they are setting up live, having a camera, and so it's great that he's got it through and that it's airing. It's again, I don't know what Vince is sitting in Gorilla. I don't know what his reaction is when he sees it. If he's like, "Damn it, who let this happen?" But it's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah. Now, Raj, by the way, I loved it as well. But Raj, you said Big E's not the star that maybe some other people are. Can he become a star with the 50-50 booking?
I feel like when you beat a world champion, it should be a big deal. And now Big E's already lost twice in the last 3-4 weeks, getting pinned twice. And then tonight, also it's Lashley's third match. Again, right. This was a very babyface heroic thing that Lashley did tonight. But I think he needs to be protected better. I think maybe also cut out some of the comedy. I think WWE automatically, once you start doing the comedy, peg you a certain way. And because he's not being booked like how Lashley was being booked when Lashley was champion. So, I'd like to see it taken more seriously.
Yeah, it's we'll see. Hopefully, I feel like he has to retain at day one. Otherwise, it's gonna look really bad. But
do you think he holds on to it until WrestleMania?
Yes.
You think so?
I think he goes to Mania as the champion, which is weird because you don't always get babyface champions going in, but I think it's him.
I think Seth Rollins is going to take it.
Ooh.
I think that's what I think. But.
Like, what's the Raw WrestleMania match? Is it Edge? Is it? Do you go that way again? Because he was in the world title match last year. There's no natural like big match sitting there.
Yeah, well, it'll be Roman Reigns in main event.
No. I mean on the Raw side
for Raw.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like crown jewel, unless they trot Goldberg back out for a Goldberg Big E thing.
Yeah,
that feels like a Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, then you're kind of going just bringing back the part timers because you haven't gotten any of the full timers over enough.
Well, even Big E Edge, that's a part time thing.
I mean, yeah, it is. No, for sure.
There's no full time Raw match.
Right.
Who was the last few Rumble winners? It was Drew. Who won it last year?
Drew was last year.
Drew last year. Jeez, that felt so long ago. Who was? And before that, it was
Randy. No,
Roman.
Hang on. The pandemic screws me. Right. So in 2021, last January was Drew.
Right.
And then the one right before COVID hit, that was in San Antonio when we saw Brock run the gauntlet.
I thought that was the one that.
No, that was last year. That was Drew.
No.
No, I think there was a different one.
That's last one with crowd where Brock's running the gauntlet. It's January of 2020, so it's just before COVID shuts down.
Yeah, that was the one that Drew won.
Okay, so who won last year with the empty arena?
Oh, this past year. Oh,
who won that one?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Must have been
Edge.
Was Edge. Yeah,
that was Edge. Okay.
So Edge, Drew. You know what? Then I think you're right. I think Big E will go to WrestleMania because I think Seth Rollins will win the Rumble. That's my prediction.
They're kind of already doing that match on paper. Again, it just waters it down. I feel like if they're going that way, having Seth lose tonight to Lashley, I don't know. I just feel like
he won it a few years ago. Now that I think about it, never mind. I don't know.
Yeah, that was who won it in 2019 with Seth.
Yeah. So I don't know. All
right.
There's not a big full-time Raw match.
Yeah. You got to bring back Cena, and I'm not saying they should do this. I'm just saying, like, as far as a larger than life match.
I mean, Veer is on his way to Raw. So.
Yes. There you go. Well, if he can get there before the Rumble,
he's walking from India. So he's on his way.
They're gonna have him go in at number 30 to give him just a little bit more time.
Unless they do something balls to the wall crazy and like Gable Steveson wins the freaking Rumble and
right,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
in
WWE terms, the Rumble's a long ways away still.
Yeah, I know we got to wrap up here in a second, but Bruce Pritchard did have this idea back for WrestleMania 9 for Scott Steiner to come in and win the Rumble. And like that would automatically put, the rocket pack to, the rocket strap to his back. What if you did that with Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker.
I think Braun Breaker is going to be a huge star. I am so on board the Braun Breaker train.
Bruce gets to fulfill his idea 19 years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
19 years later.
He retires.
Change his name to Rex Steiner. Don't do the Braun Breaker shit. And
I am such a big fan of his. I think he's going to be a huge star, but that's me.
If that happens, then you mind just get rid of 2.0 NXT. Just if you pump Braun Breaker that fast, if you promote him that fast, like just get over this thing over here.
Hey, careful! It might they might. You never know what they're going to do with that 2.0. But I think that does it for us. We talked about it all. Thank you guys in the chat as always. Thank you for all the super chats and all the conversation. Thanks for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes. Guys, before we go, any last thoughts? Anything you want to wrap up with?
Nope.
Cool. Well, make sure to follow everyone on Twitter and social media. Raj Giri, Justin LaBar, Jack Farmer. Make sure to check out the NXT after show tomorrow. Make sure to check out the AEW after show on Wednesday, then the SmackDown AEW doubleheader on Friday. And of course, make sure to stay in touch with Wrestling Inc. Follow at Wrestling Inc. on Twitter for all the news, all the stuff. All this stuff's happening all the time. You got to stay watching there all the time. That does it for us. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the NXT after show.